Hi everyone, I'm Frank from the City of Games, and today I'm going to be playing through the family version of the Isle of Cats. Now, if you're looking for a more complicated, bigger, longer game, then please check out the other videos of the standard version of the game. And if you want to play it on your own, there's a solo version too. But this video is for those of you who want the simpler, quicker, easier version of the game. So, with that said, please keep in mind that this is a prototype, and whilst all of the game mechanics are going to stay the same, some of the final pieces may be a little bit different. You can see that I've set up the game, and the family version of this is a much simpler version. We're going to have a two-player game, and each player is going to have one of their boats. So what's going on? Vesh, the evil Lord Darkhand, he is destroying the world. He is marching across with his armies, wiping out everything he finds. But he's running out of resources, and he's found the Isle of Cats, this ancient paradise that's not been touched for thousands of years, and he is on his way. In fact, in 5 days' time, he is going to arrive at the island, and everyone must flee. Now we can't stop Vesh. We are just citizens of Squall's End, but each of us has a boat, and we are on our way to the island, and we've gotten there, and we have 5 days to rescue as many of the cats that live on this island as possible before Vesh arrives, to save them, to free them, and to keep them away from him. So each boat, whilst the layout is the same, you'll see rats are in different positions, treasure maps have different colour combinations, so there is a bit of variance between each player. At the start of the game, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 18 family cards, and each player is going to be given 3 of them. So we're going to put them face down in front of each player, and then they're going to look at their 3 cards, and they're going to choose 2 to keep. So you can see that this player over here, which is going to be our purple player, what I'll do is I'll put one of these here just to remind us that this is the purple player, and I will put one of these over here for the red player. So the purple player has got 2 points per treasure on their boat, 9 points if they have exactly 5 purple cats, and 9 points if they have exactly 5 yellow cats on their boat. So what these are doing is they're giving them simple little options, and I think that as we choose 2 of them and we're the purple player, we're going to take the purple one, and we're also going to take the 2 points per treasure just to show you a little bit of variance. The other one is simply going to be removed and put back into the box. Our red player, on the other hand, has got 9 points if they have exactly 5 blue cats, 10 points if they have the largest family, which means the largest group of the same colour cat together, and 10 points if they have no visible rats on their boat. So if they cover up all of the rats, it's going to give them 10 points. Similarly, I think that with this one, we're probably going to go for the... Let's just go for the largest family and the 10 points for no rats, just so we can show you a little bit of kind of how the different things play. So that's the hardest decision really that has to be made at the start of the game, and now we're ready. So we're going to play over 5 days, and on each day we're going to take a number of tiles out of this bag and we're going to put them around the island. It doesn't matter where they go, but we're going to put 4 tiles out per player. Or I should say, we're going to put out 4 cats per player. So this would be 1 player, and then we're going to take out 4 more tiles, and it's possible that we may, as we just did, find some rare treasure. If we do, the rare treasure just goes by the other treasures, and we continue taking out tiles until we've got 8 cats. So there we go, we've got our 8, and as you can see there are green, yellow, purple, blue and red. I took these at random, but that worked perfectly for the example, so there we go. And players are going to take it in turns to take these and place them on their boats. You can take any cat, and there's no other rules about it, and you're going to place them on your boat. So let's put our lesson cards up here. So we can see that our purple player has these goals, and our red player has got these goals. Just going to check that they are still in the screen. I think that we are looking good. So, those are the goals. Obviously, in the game, you would keep them face down so no one else can see them. These are private to you. But for the sake of the video, I'll leave them face up so you can see them. So, how does it work? The purple player's going first, so they can choose any cat. And we're looking for purple cats and treasures, so I think I'm going to take the only purple cat available, and I'm going to place it on my boat. The first piece can go anywhere on my boat that I wish, as long as it's within this outer line. I can flip it, I can turn it, I can do what I want as long as it fits within the grid and is within this edge. Now, you'll see there are also treasure maps. If I cover a treasure map with a cat of the same colour, so for example, putting the purple cat over the purple treasure map, then I can take one of these treasures for free and put it straight onto my boat. That gives you 5 chances to get different treasures if you choose to do that. When you place a treasure on your boat, it has to touch a previously placed piece. So I've placed this cat, and it seems logical to me to place this treasure over here. This is also going to be worth 2 points to me. Normally treasures aren't worth anything, but if I cover each of these 5 treasure maps, I'm going to get 10 points from that card. So that's kind of where I'm working towards. But how are we going to score points, you ask? Well, you're going to score points for 2 different things, your cat families and your lesson cards, but you're also going to lose points for things that you don't do. So every rat that is visible on my boat at the end of the game is going to be -1 point. So I actually start on -19 points. But in addition, you'll see there are different rooms on my boat, and each of these rooms has a wall around it. They're slightly different colours, but also if you look closely, there are icons in the corners. So these help you see what the rooms are. And when you start covering spaces, all you have to do is see how many different icons are visible. At the end of the game, each of these rooms is going to be -5 points. And there are 7 rooms, including this giant one that has this corridor going around here. So again, that's -35. So at the end of the game, I'm going to lose points for not covering rats, not filling rooms, but I'm going to gain points for completing my lessons, which no one knows what they are, so no one knows how to kind of interrupt me, and also for getting cat families. A cat family is 3 or more cats of the same colour which are touching. So if I have 2 more purple cats touching this purple cat, I'm going to score 8 points. If I get 10 purple cats touching, it's going to be 40 points. So the more cats of the same colour touching, the more points I get. And that's how scoring works. So let's go over to the red player. The red player is trying to cover all of their rats for a bonus 10 points and to have the largest family. So they really want to have lots of cats of the same colour. What I'm thinking is perhaps we want to go with yellow because there's lots of yellow cats out, so that gives me a good chance. And also, there's a yellow treasure map here. So again, perhaps I'm going to take this yellow tile and I'm going to place it here, which covers this treasure map and allows me to place a treasure on my boat. In this instance, I want to cover as many rats as possible because that's what I'm trying to do. So what I'm probably going to do is take one of these, but I can also take this treasure, which is a longer treasure. The longer treasures are the rare treasures that come out of the bag, and if I get them, they're just going to take up more space. So maybe I want to put this one here, because it's going to cover 3 rats, and it's going to give me an extra square that's being covered. The red player is gone. It's back to the purple player. At the start of the game, we just randomly choose the starting player. There's no kind of rules, it's just up to you who you'd like to go first. If you're playing with children, then perhaps the adult will go first just to show them how it works. Or if they're much better at you at games, which often happens, then you can let them go first too and show you how it's done. So it's back to me. There are no more purple cats. So now I really want to start thinking about what other cats are going to work well for me. Perhaps this blue cat here will go nicely onto this edge and again will help me cover rats. Whilst I don't get points for covering my rats, it does stop me losing them. We're back to the red player. They're going to want to get more yellow cats, and this long yellow cat here is looking really good. And I want to connect my yellow cats because obviously we're going to get families. So placing that one there gives me 2 yellow cats, and whilst 2 in itself doesn't make a family for points, it's obviously putting me in the right direction. Coming back over here, I'm going to take the other blue cat because it will connect nicely with the one that I've already taken, and I think that I'm just going to connect this one and put it over here. Again, trying to group up similar colours is where you kind of are going to score a lot of your points whilst trying to fit as much of your boat and cover these things. Now, one thing I've realised is I've come down here with blue, but I also want to cover this with blue so I can get my extra treasure that gives me points. So I'm already potentially going in the wrong direction over here, but we'll see what we can do. Back to this player, we're going to want to take another yellow tile, and we want to be careful that we're not blocking too much of this space, so I think that we're probably just going to put this one up here, because that will give us a nice kind of big yellow area to expand because we're really trying to get the biggest family we can. Whilst treasure maps are good, we're more interested in just really growing this family. Over to the purple player, and now there's either red or green. Neither of these are great because we kind of want to get yellow down here and we want green up here. So maybe what we're going to do is we're going to start expanding across the board, and we're going to start trying to work our green cat up to this cat treasure here. So back to our red player, there's only one left for them, and they want to try and fit as much of their bow as possible. This red piece does go nicely here, but then the red treasure is here. But for me, I don't mind too much about treasures. I'm not going to get points for them. And I think just filling in this part of my boat is really going to help and cover that extra rat, which may be a little bit challenging otherwise. So that's the end of the first round. Vesh is going to move towards us. Whoever was the first player is going to go to the end of the queue. So in a 2-player game, it's just going to switch back and forwards. And then we're going to just get some more cats. And we're going to go around 5 times. So it's very, very straightforward. It just keeps a nice, simple pace. But the challenge to this is, obviously, how do you best place these? You'll see we're now getting a lot of treasures coming out. Let me just move these down here so you can just see them in the camera. And you'll see that we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 more cats. So there we go. So one of the advantages with leaving your treasure maps to the end is that it gives you more chance of getting the bigger ones, especially if you're going to be first, because now red, if they were in a position where they could cover one of these maps, it would give them quick access to one of those bigger treasures. But unfortunately, we haven't planned for that. So the red player, there's only one yellow, and we really want to make sure we get as many yellows as possible. So I think we're going to take this, and it's probably going to come over here because it's going to help fill this gap. It does leave us with 1 square, but we can fix that later with one of these, and it is allowing us to continue growing that yellow family. I'm also mindful that we do want to start covering some of these rats, so we're going to have to move across. With our purple player, we want to continue, we were looking for the 5 purple cats, so maybe at this point we want to start taking some of the purple cat pieces. A little bit difficult. Maybe this one over here would be good because that would help us fill this space here, and that could work quite nicely for us. It's connecting this family and it's allowing us to kind of progress out a little bit. Back to the red player, they've got no more yellow pieces, so maybe they continue the red family just to help them get more points, or maybe they're going to try and put a blue piece here or a red piece here to get that treasure to fill that gap. As there are no blue pieces, I think that for now we're just going to continue our red family, and it looks like this could be a really good piece to come down here. We're going over the blue treasure map, and that's fine. We're not going to get a treasure, but it is going to allow us just to continue that red family. Back to our purple player. This piece looks like it's going to fit very nicely into this gap, and we want to be careful because we need exactly 5 purple, so we've got 3 now, so we want to make sure that we don't get stuck with too many of them later on. Back to the red player, we're going to continue building our red family up, and this one's looking really nice. It fits quite quickly into this place, allows us to build, and we come back to purple. Purple's thinking, I need 2 more purple pieces. We've got 3 more rounds. This piece isn't a great shape for me, so maybe I'm just going to continue expanding my green family over here, and this is going to allow me to get closer to that treasure map, because again, I do need these to get my bonus points. Back to the red player, they're finally going to take this last red piece, and this time it's not really fitting too well for them. There's no particularly good place. We've already left 1 gap, so we probably want to be careful. But what I'm thinking is this going to give us our 4th red piece, and we've got 4 yellows, so maybe red is now becoming our largest family. So actually, maybe with the reds, we could start working our way up over to this treasure map and switch to red. Maybe that plan of yellow isn't going to work best for us. The purple player's been left with a purple piece. This is the one we didn't want because it doesn't really fill the boat very well for us. And it's very challenging because if we put this in here, like this, then we are going to leave these 2 rats, which means we are going to need another treasure to be able to cover them. I think we're leaving some awkward shapes, but maybe that's where we're going to need to end up. So that's the end of the second round. We move on to the third round. As I say, the family version of this game is designed to be a lot quicker and a lot easier. It just gives you this real decision of how do I fill my boat optimally? How do I complete my objectives? How do I cover as many rats as possible and build some families? The full version of the game is certainly a little bit more complicated, but most of the rules are the same. It just adds more complexity, which does mean that you can continue to kind of progress from this game to other people once you've got to that point. So, I should say, once they're familiar with this, you can then kind of switch up. So, that is us done. Our purple player is now first, and we're in the third of 5 rounds. Vesh's fleet is on its way. We still can't see them in Horizon, but they're getting that bit closer. We want to fill as much of this gap. We've got 4 purples. We need 1 more purple cat. So, what I'm worried about is I don't think that our red player is taking purple cats. You can clearly see they're going for red and yellow right now. So if I take all of these purple cats, they may end up taking all of the other colours and leaving me stuck. So maybe I want to take a red cat just to stop them, or a yellow cat to stop them. And that's one of the decisions I get to make. But equally, this green cat works really well for me. But they're not taking green, so maybe that's a safe bet right now. Maybe I do want to take a purple cat, but what's going to work well is really challenging. I'm not sure, because we want to get our treasures with blues, but I don't think I'm going to manage to do that. So maybe I'm going to put this in here, which means I'm not going to get 5. I'm going to get a maximum of 4 treasures, which is going to lose me 2 points, but it does give me my 5. I do now have some gaps though, and I can only fill these gaps using those treasures. So I'm kind of pushing myself into a bad place. Our red player's thinking, I need the largest family. I need it to get points. They've got 5 and I've only got 4 of each. So am I going for red or yellow? The red piece here does fit nicely onto my boat. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to put it in there, which is going to bring me up to 5, and now we're tying. We're now going to look back to the purple player. And the purple player is ready to take this green piece. I think this is going to work well for them. They're going to cover a treasure map, which gives them a treasure. And for now, they're going to cover these 2 rats, because that completes this room, which is going to stop them losing some points. These 2 gaps here are part of this big room, which is a lot harder to fill. So I think that I'm going to leave those ones empty for the time being. Back to our red player. Our red player is thinking, well, I'm going for red, but maybe the yellow is also going to just keeping them both going, keeping them both scoring points is going to be the best advantage for me. So how can I best place this? I could place this here, but it only covers that 1 square in this room. Am I going to fill this big room? Maybe I am. I don't know. So I'm going to put this one in here just because it nicely kind of starts progressing me up this boat. Back to the purple player. Now we're in a tricky situation because we don't want these purple tiles, which means that we've got to be careful because we're probably going to end up with one. This is a green piece that works really nicely for us, kind of. I mean, it's not really going to fill any good places, but it is of the colour. And as now we've got our 5 purples, we don't want to keep growing that. But maybe we can take this blue one, because the blue family we can continue to grow and to score points, but I think that the green one's where it's at. It's not going to put me in a great position. I'm not going to cover very much, but maybe putting that there will help fill some more of this room and cover a rat, and that will start pushing me towards a better score. Our red player is thinking, I could take the blue, but I have no blue treasure maps. I could take the purple because then I can move my way across, and maybe if I put this in here, that is straight away going to cover that purple, and it's going to give me a free treasure. So that works really well because I do need to fill that space. And again, these treasures are limited, so we do have to be careful. That's going to fill that space nicely. We're still hoping that we're going to get a nice yellow cat to go into this gap, but we don't know. Back to the purple player. We've got a blue and a purple. We can't take the purple because we've already got our 5. And if we take more, we're not going to complete them. So now we're going to keep with blue and we're going to progress this. Our red player now starts to work out, well, why didn't you take the purple? Surely that's worth more points to you. But, you know, they've not played the game, so they're not overly sure what the reason is. For us, we're stuck with this last piece, and that's fine because we can continue to build off these purples, cover some rats because we do need to cover all of our rats, and maybe have 1 more purple and then work our way towards the green. Vetch is getting closer. The turn order is going to switch once again, and we're going to get some more cats. So we're in the 4th round, and as you can see, it's a fairly quick, straightforward kind of placement game, but the fun really comes into like how you place those cats and where you put them around your boat. You're going to have to, oops, try not to drop cats there. There we go. I'll put this one back over here. And there we go. That is our 8 cats. Obviously, you know, you can place them one at a time. Let's just make sure that those aren't under the camera. There we go. You'd rather see the cats than my face, I'm sure. So our red player is going first, and now things are starting to get a little bit more tricky. We want to build our reds, we want to build our yellows, but I'm thinking that this piece here fills that room perfectly, and that helps us continue to grow our yellow family, and that's a really nice fit. We've only got one more square, and then we can fill that room. Our purple player is looking to get greens, they're also looking to get blues, but they also want these yellows and reds. So they've got a real mixture of things going on. And I think that this yellow is really important to them because they want to get those extra 2 points. So, and they want to be able to get more treasures, but right now we don't know where those treasures are going to end up. So this piece though does fit nicely in here. However, it kills off our blue family. We can't continue to grow it very much, but I think that that's what we want for those extra 2 points. We're also going to be able to take one of these, which allows us to potentially fill this gap here, which allows us to start filling more of this room. And we've only got a little bit left, so maybe we're thinking let's fill this room, this room, this room, and maybe this room, and leave the big room. This player over here is still not sure, like the more yellow cats over here, the better. Getting this red over here would be great, but it is back to them. And it's time to make that decision. We could easily put this one here. That would continue around the boat, give us our red treasure, take one of these little treasures and to fill this gap, which helps us to fill this room. What you'll notice is I'm not really taking these big treasures. Whilst they're really good for filling more space, these little ones work really well for filling gaps. So that's one of those decisions I have to make. Am I trying to fill as much as possible, or am I strategically trying to fill different rooms? We're back to our purple player, and our purple player now has to decide, what am I doing? This green cat over here fills nicely into this gap. This is going to allow us to fill some more room, continue to grow our green family, and I think that that works out well for us. Back over here, we're thinking, well, we want more red cats and yellow cats. There are no yellows. Let's keep taking reds. But what can we do that's going to help us fill more of our rooms? We're kind of like done with these. Like we do need to cover those 4 rats, but maybe if we get a green cat here, we can take this treasure and put that onto those 4. So can we place this piece in here? Maybe that works well, but if we do that, that does leave us with 1 room and 1 square, in this room, which means that this green treasure is now going to have to be used for that, making those something we're going to have to deal with in a different way. Back to our purple player. We're thinking we don't want purples, there are no. We kind of want a blue in this gap, but this doesn't fit. The greens are really good for us to be able to continue expanding, and maybe we could put this one here. That helps to complete this room. It also allows us to move the reds over to here, and that works quite nicely. Our other player is going to take the last red piece, but where is this going to work best? We could put that there, but it would still leave us with 1 rat. We could put it here, but it's going to then leave us with another room that we can't fill. Maybe we want to put it here, because this is then going to help fill more of that room and this square, so that works nicely for us. And finally, our purple player has this 1 blue cat. Now they can choose to pass, they don't have to take it, and it would go to the red player should they wish. We can't continue this family, but at this point, maybe we just want to start filling more of our boat. And this is where we have to think. I mean, we've potentially got 1 more treasure. If I put this into here, then that's going to leave us with 1 little gap. And if we can get that red cat onto that treasure, maybe that's going to help us. So that's the end of this round, and we move to the last round. Turn order switches over once again, and you'll see that Vetch's troops, his boats are on the horizon. We can see them, we can hear the drums beating, and we are scared. We are having to make sure that we are ready to leave as quickly as possible, because we do not want to be here when Vetch arrives. There are our final cats. Let's just make sure that we can see them all nicely on the camera. There we go. And Our purple player is going first. Now, luckily, there are no more purple cats, so that works really well for us. We do want a red cat to fill this space, and we know that the other player is going for lots of red, so this would work really nicely for us to fill up this gap. So I think that the first thing we want to do is take a red cat. Maybe at this point we're now making the decision that we're not going to be able to fill this room, but instead taking this allows us to put one of these onto here, and that brings us that little bit closer to filling this room, and now we've just got 2 squares left. So maybe if we can fill those 2 squares and these, that's going to be the best that we can do. Back to our red player, they really want to make sure that they get this last red piece, and it will fill this square down here quite nicely, so that also works. I've just noticed there's a square up here that we haven't filled. So not only do we need to get this treasure, and we can't get this treasure because there's no greens, we left it too late, so we're definitely not going to be able to fill this room. So maybe this room now needs to become the priority if we can find a piece that's going to fit up there. So red is suddenly having a major panic. They've not covered all their rats. They've not filled these rooms. It's not gone well for them. Back to our purple player, who's feeling a little bit more confident right now. They can see that red is starting to panic, and they've got 3 more pieces to take. So we've got no greens to continue this family. There's a lot of blue pieces, and I do have a blue cat, so maybe if we get 2 more blues, I'll be able to continue and to complete 1 more family. The question is, what can I place in here that's going to actually allow me to do this? Because maybe this piece here works really well for us. That helps us to fill this room. But then, are we going to be able to fill this space? I don't know. We come back to red. Red is panicking. There's no more red cats. They can't fill this room. They can't fill this room. Can they fill this room? I don't think any of these pieces are going to go into that space. So they're completely all over the place. It's not gone well. They can fill this room. So maybe they're just going to take a piece to fill this, and then maybe some more yellow cats over here, but we also want to cover this treasure. We're going to get 3 more pieces. Can we cover these rats? Because that is going to be 10 points for us, and that's really important. So I feel like the most important piece we can possibly take is this, because that's going to help us fill the yellow family bigger and to cover some rats, and maybe we're going to get over there. We're back to our purple player, and our purple player has just spotted this piece that perfectly fits into this gap. Oh my goodness, that fills both of those rooms, creates a family, and we are feeling good. We're back to our red player. Our red player is not feeling good. They want to get these rats, so how are they going to get over to them? What is the best way? This is potentially the longest piece that's going to bring them here. If they do that, then this piece is not going to fit, so they would not be able to do that. This piece is not going to fit, so they're not going to be able to do that. So that probably isn't what they're going to want to do. Maybe they could do this. If they do this, then this piece is not going to fit, and that piece is not going to fit. They are starting to panic, but maybe if they do that, it's going to work for them. They are really starting to struggle. I do not think that they're going to be able to cover the rats or fill these rooms. So maybe just going for this room up here is the best that they can do at this point. They are not feeling happy about this. It's not gone so well. So they're just going to have to put 1 piece over here. I'm having one last look to see if there's anything we can do. Perhaps putting this one here gives us a chance of getting them if the other player doesn't take that piece. They don't know what we're trying to do. We're coming back to our purple player, and our purple player is thinking, I'd like to get this blue cat. I'd like to continue these families, but I don't know if I can. I don't think that's going to fit in there. Is this yellow piece going to fit anywhere? I don't know. It is, and it's going to fit nicely over those rats there, covering them for them, which means the red player has blown up in frustration because they're never going to be able to complete this now. They've messed up. They left it too late. We've messed up this room. We've messed up this room. We've messed up this room. All we've got is this little cat which we can look at and say, we saved you. So, as we get to the end of that day, Vesh arrives and we all get onto our boats and we sail away. The last thing that we can do is we can add up our scores, and for the purpose of this, I'm just quickly going to do it on a pad of paper, so do bear with me. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to count up our rats. We have 2 rats visible for the purple player, which means that we're going to get -2 points, and we have got 2 rats visible for our red player, which is going to be -2 points. For our purple player, how many rooms have we not filled? There is the parrot icon over here, and then the no iconed room, so that's 2 rooms, which is going to be minus 10 points for that player. For the red player, however, we've got the parrot, we've got the moon, we've got the apple, we've got the empty room, and we've got the grain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, which is a minus 25 points. That's not good news. So for blue cats, how many families do we have? We've got 1 family of 3 here and 1 family of 3 here. 3 is 8 points, so it's going to be 8 and 8, which is 16 points for our purple player. Our red player, however, only has 2, which isn't big enough to score points, so that's 0. For green, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green cats, which is going to score us 20 points for the purple player and none for the red player. So far, it's looking really bad for red and really good for purple, but we will see. For purple cats, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to be 15 points. And over here, we've only got 2, which again is going to be no points. I feel that maybe I had a preference for purple because purple, after all, is the best colour. Red is going to have no points for the purple player. And red over here, so this is where the points come in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is going to be 35 points for our red player. And yellow cats, again, we've got 0 for our purple player, and our red player has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is going to be another 25 points. So that's feeling a little bit better. Finally, we move on to our lessons. We got 2 points per treasure for purple, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to be 8 points in total, and 9 points for having 5 purple cats, which we did, which is 17 points for our 2 lesson cards. Over here, our red player, 10 points for the largest family. We definitely had the largest family, which was a family of 9, which means we are going to score 10 points. And then 10 points if you've got no visible rats. There are 2 rats left, which means I don't get those 10 points. So I'm only going to score 10 points. If I'd managed to cover those 2 rats, I would have got 10 more points and not lost 2 points, which would have been 12 points. And maybe, just maybe, that's what I should have aimed for. So let's quickly add up the scores. Our purple player has 9, 17, 32, 52, 68, 58, 56 points. And our red player has 10, 35, 70, 65, 45, 43 points. So our purple player is 56, our red player is 43, and that is the end of the game. As I've said several times, this is the family version of the Isle of Cats. This is the simpler, quick way to play the game, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to ask them in the comments below, and when you're ready for something more complicated, please feel free to check out the bigger version of the game that gives you everything added on top, but gives you a really good learning point with this family game. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep on adventuring.